There we go. So, Christina, why don't you explain a little bit about what you do? It sounds like you have an incredible career.
um, well, I will start by saying I'm not doing anything in my life that I thought I'd ever do. And maybe that's a good thing because it makes you get out of the way so that you actually do something. Um, I always wanted to either be a chef or an artist. I either wanted to live in Italy and paint or cook. And when I was growing up, I was in the kitchen a lot with my family, but, women didn't work in kitchens. I remember asking my father, because a butcher at a big hotel in Miami, can you get me a job in the kitchen? He's like, no, they don't want women in the kitchen. And I'm like, Pop, it, it's come on, it's the 70s. Women work in the kitchen. He goes, yeah, no. So he got me a job as a waitress in the coffee shop. And after 2 days, customers were demanding that I be fired because I'm a terrible waitress to this day. You don't want me bringing you your soup. So the maitre d' couldn't fire me because my father was the butcher. So he's like, you, kitchen. And I thought, great. So I get into the kitchen and the chef said to me, so you're kind of a problem. I'm like, no. I just want to be in the kitchen. He goes, well, do what I say. We're going to do it in 3 months increments. I'm like, okay. For the first 3 months, all I did was wash vegetables. For the second 3 months, I diced onions. For the third 3 months, I shredded cabbage by hand. For the fourth 3 months, he came to me and said, vegetarian, right? And I said, yes. He said, you're going to clean the insides out of roasting chickens. And I did it all day. So boned them, did the whole thing. And then at the end of that, he said to me, well, it's been a year and I haven't been able to get rid of you. So you must really want this job. Don't ever leave my side. And he taught me. He was great. And then I moved into pastry, fell in love and studied pastry and became a pastry chef. And, but I always went back and forth between art and food. I worked as an illustrator when I got tired of cooking, and then I came back to food, and then I would get tired and, go back. And I kind of didn't know what exactly I was doing here. I was a good person. I was a vegetarian. I recycled, but what was the point really? And my mother passed away in 1983 at the age of 49 from colon cancer. And 3 or 4 months later, I was diagnosed with terminal leukemia. They don't do leukemia in stages, but it would be like stage 4. And I remember thinking, oh, you got to be kidding me. Didn't I just do this for 2 years? Come on. So very long story short, I met the man who became my husband. And through getting cancer and recovering with the use of food, I discovered what I was doing here. And so since then, we have built our business, our brand, our career on giving people information to help them make healthier choices in their lives. Personally, we are vegans, and I wish the whole world was, but I'm also a realist. So for me, I just want people to know that there's better options out there. And so that's kind of everything that we do, from the TV show to cooking classes, books, to the website, to the social media, to the travel business, is all comes from the same root of the same message, which is there's a better way to treat your body, your community, and the planet. And we're going to give you those options. You may do with them as you like. That's kind of what we did.
Nice. And what would you say was the biggest challenge about doing this?
Well, early on, it was, vegan. Vegan was a terrible word. Nobody wanted to hear it. It was like, crosses went up across, no, oh, vegan. Yeah, no, I don't want to talk about that. Or no, it was this, or no, it was that. I mean, I actually wrote, I think it was my third book, was the first time we said vegan on the cover. And it was probably in the 90s, I guess. We couldn't get 1 ounce of press for that book. Nothing. Nobody wanted to hear one thing about it. And that, of course, thank God, has changed. But so the biggest challenge was being sort of ahead of the curve on vegan. No one was really talking about it. Certainly no one was cooking tofu on television when we started in 1998. So the challenge has always been for us, being ahead of the curve and pushing a rock uphill is the joke I've always made in our office. Well, Time to go push the rock uphill. And I still feel like we're pushing the rock uphill, but now there's a few more people behind me pushing it, as well, which is a great thing. And the evolution can't happen soon enough. But I think that was our biggest challenge. And also, my husband and I both come from a background of food. He was also in marketing. I was an illustrator, but we have not done one thing in our business that we knew how to do. We just figured it out. We're like, well, let's see if this works. And then we would do it. And somehow it would work. And it was way before social media. So we didn't have that cross to bear, of everything you do every mistake you make being under scrutiny. So we had the leeway to make a few mistakes along the way and not have, not be canceled or whatever it is that they do to you on social media now. So, so it was kind of like an interesting time to grow a business, the 90s and early 2000s and late 80s, which is what we did.
That's very true. And I see how different it is now. Now, if you don't know social media, you can't do anything. But yeah, I think it's more amazing that you're able to do it. You were able to do it without social media. And I mean, I know
Yeah.
people always say, where were you without it? But I'm 37 now and I grew up without social media. And I look back, I think it's better that way. So I'm
Yeah.
so
Oh,
impressed.
I have a niece who's now in her late 20s. And a few years ago, she said to me, but Aunt Christina, how did you guys handle the pressure and the stress? And I'm like, what pressure and stress? She said, well, if somebody was calling you, you didn't know. And I said, yeah, there was no stress. You didn't know. I said, you have more stress than I do. Every time that little thing beeps, you have to figure out a way to go look at it without me noticing. I said, just look at it. We didn't have any stress. If you knew someone was calling, you stayed home and waited.
Yes, exactly.
So it's more interesting now, and I definitely feel for younger people now that they're always under such scrutiny of each other, whether you're famous, not famous, whatever. You have to have the skin, the thickness of a rhinoceros to be out there in any way.
Exactly. And I work at a university, so I work with younger kids, and I'm like, be careful what you post. It can come back to haunt you. I mean, look at some of
Forever.
these people. Yeah, that like 10 years ago, they posted a tweet that was considered in poor taste, and now they're canceled. And they're like, I don't even remember posting that tweet. It's like, yeah, everything. I'm like, be careful. That's why I'm glad there was no social media when I was in college. All the stupid stuff
Me
I
too.
did back in the day.
Wow. Because man, there'd be people coming out of the woodwork.
But yeah.
I'm always really glad we didn't have any back then. Whew.
Yeah, exactly. And what would you say was the most rewarding part about your career thus far?
Everything. Every single day. I love what I do. I look forward to it. I like cooking classes. I'm not outgoing one-on-one with people. Like I don't want to walk into a party by myself. I'm not very extroverted that way, but put me in front of a group of 1,000 people and I'm your girl. Do you know what I mean? So I love everything about what I do except still photography. Like when I have to do a photo shoot for a cover or for the website, it's torture. I'll do TV, I'll, do cooking classes, do events. I don't care, book signings. The minute it starts with, the still photos and the photographer's like, come on, pretend like you really want to be here. But I don't.
Exactly.
I'm just, it's embarrassing to me. Like I'm not, yeah. Otherwise, I love everything that we do. So fulfilling, all of it, really, all of it. You get an email that says to somebody, I lost 50 pounds because I bought your book, or my arthritis doesn't ache as much because I changed my food. You think, okay, I'll get up out of bed tomorrow and push the rock uphill again.
Exactly. And what's your go-to recipe? I know you said you're a vegan, so what's your go-to recipe that you would make?
Well, we're Italian, so I would say a go-to recipe is either going to be a soup or a pasta. If I'm under the gun, it's going to be a lentil, like an Italian lentil soup, or a pasta dish that, like today for lunch, we were out walking this morning and we got back around 1, and I thought, I don't know, I got this new cookbook and I made the easiest pasta I've ever made from scratch. equal parts cornmeal and flour with water and a pinch of salt. Pull it together, roll it out, cut it into little like gnocchi shape, cook it for 2 minutes, mix it with tomato sauce and cooked chickpeas, lunch. And I thought, this is amazing. So yeah, I would say pasta or a soup.
Nice, nice. And I love chickpeas and tomatoes together. I'm going to try it with that pasta too. So good. So good.
So
Now, are you gluten free as well, or?
I am not.
Okay.
I am not. Um, I support gluten free for people who need to be gluten free,
Right.
celiac or diagnosed gluten intolerant. Otherwise, I think it's a bit of a contagion that has taken on a life of its own. And most gluten free packaged products that I look at are not exactly health promoting. So I'm not. I also think that we've put a lot of demonization on this one little protein. I mean, give me a break. You can't be responsible for every single thing that's wrong with you. Do you know what I mean? So
Right, exactly.
I'm a very skeptical, gluten free. Like when somebody talks to me about gluten free, I'm like, okay, I'll talk to you about it, but tell me why you're doing it. If you're doing it because your neighbor told you she sleeps better, it's probably not a good enough reason to go gluten free, because it is in fact a protein. And there was a study done by Harvard several years ago, Harvard Medical, that said if you give up gluten just to, because it's Tuesday and you give up gluten, there are certain bacteria that your intestines no longer make because there's no gluten challenging your digestion. So unless you have to give it up, I kind of don't see a reason. Do I endorse the eating of white bread? No. White flour? No. But if you're eating a good whole grain bread, sourdough bread from an artisanal bakery, I don't really think you need to worry about it. I mean, I think as a culture, many of us eat way too much of it. Pastry in the morning, sandwiches at lunch, and bread at dinner. But if you, eat it as as a normal, just another ingredient of your day, I don't see an issue with gluten at all. Now, it's people who'll differ, but
I understand. I feel the same way as you do, but my sister-in-law is celiac. That's why I
that's
asked.
a whole different ballgame.
Right, exactly.
I mean, we're one of the things we do in travel is we often help brides. So we're doing a wedding in 2022, we hope.
Fingers crossed.
And
Yeah.
the bride, yeah, please. And the bride has celiac. So now I'm working with vendors and the hotel and the caterer, because the last person you want sick at the wedding is the bride. And she's sensitive. If there's so much as a touch of wheat gluten left on a pan that something gets cooked in, she's going to be sick. So I completely honor what she's dealing with. So yeah, there's celiac and gluten intolerance. Diagnosed gluten intolerance are interesting diseases because they are the only diseases that illustrate to us without question the impact of food on your wellness. You cannot handle celiac without food. Can't do it.
Exactly, exactly. Yes. So that's right. And one thing about your books, do you do illustrations in your cookbooks?
Some of them have illustrations. My newest one actually has color photos, which is the first time I've done that. And I love it. But yes, I do. The other books have all had illustrations by me.
That's great. Yeah. Would you ever consider doing a children's cookbook with your illustrations and your recipes?
I have my new publisher who did this book. I have not talked to about it, but when I had the conversation with Penguin years ago, they said, cookbooks for kids, they don't sell. I mean, it's a different time now, so you definitely could. I actually have an idea in my head for a kid's book, and I just haven't gotten around to doing it yet.
Nice, nice. The reason why I ask is my sister's expecting, and we're doing a special little thing with comfort recipes we had as kids. And I
Yeah.
know she's going to be watching this, so now the surprise is ruined. But I think she knows I'm doing it. But anyway, I was thinking, maybe a kid's book would be really good because they look at the pretty pictures that you drew and they're like, oh, this sounds like a cool recipe. And then they have a comfort recipe that they can pass on.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's that's the kind of thing that would be cool to do, like almost as a community. Like all the relatives get together and they contribute a recipe, and then you get somebody to illustrate it so that it's very inviting and warm. But then it would be such a personal gift to her, of sort of heirloom recipes, if you want to call it that. That would be excellent to do.
Yeah, that's what we do at bridal showers. Everyone contributes a recipe and we make a cookbook. We did it
Yeah.
for my sister and my sister-in-law when they both got married, and we got so many recipes. I think we had over 100 recipes for each of them.
Oh, that's so nice though.
Yeah, and they both love it. My sister, like, will just sometimes go through it, and like people will put like little notes and stuff. Oh, my mom made this when I was a little girl, and etc. So yes, such a wonderful thing to do.
And it really makes it such a precious thing to have, from your family.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, what was your favorite recipe when you were little?
Oh, I when I was little, I still am. I was very sensitive to noise and yelling. Like the TV can't be too loud, the stereo can't be too loud, and if someone yells, if you want to win a fight with me, just yell at me because I'm done. It's like, okay, you win, stop yelling. And my mother was a yeller. And but I noticed in the kitchen no one yelled. They were singing, they were drinking coffee, they were joking around, and there was everything from, dessert to bread being baked to pasta being rolled. And I remember as a little girl carrying ravioli in my little hands to put on the towels on the bed for dinner. And I said to my dad when I turned 4, I'll never forget this. He said, "What do you want for your birthday?" And I said, "I want a stool." Because he was a woodworker too. I said, "I want you to make a stool so that I can reach the counter and help Mama in the kitchen." And so I used to she'd let me roll meatballs and, pick parsley leaves off the stems. But I quickly gravitated toward my Aunt Laura, who was the dessert master in the house. And she made the greatest biscotti. And, so I think I gravitated really early on toward pastry. And it really discovered a passion for it. And I love the creativity of it. So I think I would have to say, as a kid, baking cookies was always like the thing that made me feel the most comforted and at home.
Same. My
It
mom makes the
still
best
is.
cookies.
It actually still is. Yeah. Making cookies is, yeah.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And one thing I like to ask the people I interview is, tell me a fun fact about yourself that might surprise people.
Fun fact. I am a total addicted gym rat.
Nice.
I am, yeah, hardcore. The harder, the better. Yeah, that's usually surprises people because I'm kind of quiet. I'm not a real sort of out there kind of adventurous. And they go, "What?" Yeah, the gym.
Nice. I love going to, well, now I have a home gym. So
Nice.
thanks to the pandemic, we bought a treadmill, and my brother is my bromate. So that's what I call him, because we share a house when I'm in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And we basically decided, you know what, why pay for a gym if we don't have to? We got a treadmill, we got weights, and we're going to probably get a couple of other things. And
Yeah.
yeah. And his wife lives with us because she goes to grad school in New York. That's why I moved in with him, because my lease was up. And we're just like, okay, we just have our own gym now. Why
It's
pay
nice.
for it? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. If I had a gym in the house, I'd probably, never leave it, which is bad. So, yeah. We actually go to a local little city one of gym that's owned by a woman and her 3 sons. And it's a great like neighborhood gym. And we're so happy that we're open again. So it was the pandemic. That's been the longest thing for us is, oh, the gym is closed. Okay. I guess we'll
Yeah.
and walk, do push-ups, whatever. But phew, yeah, I miss the gym, but it's
Yeah.
back.
Yeah. Well, hopefully this pandemic will be over soon and we can finally go back to normal.
Oof, yeah, hopefully. I mean,
Yeah.
we have a better shot now than we did for the last 4 years. Let's just say that.
Yes, let's knock on wood. I mean, like I said, my sister's expecting and she's due in May. And I'm like, come hell or high water, this pandemic
Yeah,
better be over. I'll
yeah.
wear a whole, what's it called? The hazmat suits. And
Hazmat suit, right? Doesn't matter. I'm going.
I'll fly to New York like that and just be like that. But I'll be pink and sparkly because that's who I am.
Oh, nice,
And
nice.
I'll be there. I'm like, come hell or high water. I'm not missing seeing my goddaughter be born.
No, you can't. There's things you just can't miss. And
Yeah.
by
So
be okay. The weather will be warmer. I kind of see a light at the end of the tunnel. It's a ways off, but I think that we're gonna. Yeah, I think we're gonna get there.
yes, knock on wood.
Knock on
And
wood.
yeah, we're also a TV site. So what are you watching on TV these days?
My husband and I, during the pandemic, subscribed to a streaming service called MHZ Choice because we have a really hard time where we travel a lot to Europe and we really are missing it. So I was talking to a friend of mine who said, you got to get this streaming service. It's all French, Italian, whatever, Spanish. So we have been deeply, deeply addicted to this streaming service. Every night it's either an Italian, French, or a Spanish film, cop show, some mystery. So that's what we're watching. We get it. We were getting it through Prime, and now we get it. We go straight to MHZ because there's more variety, and that's pretty much it. We can't actually remember the last time we watched a movie in English. So, and I speak Italian and Spanish, and my husband understands Italian, so it's kind of nice for both of us to. And I'm trying to teach myself French, which is a whole different, subject. But yeah. So yeah, we're addicted. We're addicted to foreign television right now.
That's incredible. And if you want to learn French, use the app Duolingo.
That's what I use.
Yes, nice. I love it. I love it. Yeah.
Keep my Italian grammar sharp because I'm not in Italy. I use it to keep my Spanish sharp. And I was like, well, let me see if I can learn French. I mean, I can say, I probably sound like a caveman. I don't think my accent's very good, but I can say a few things like, I could get by. And when I'm watching a French film, I'm like, I understand this. So
yes.
Yeah. It'd be nice to have all three languages under my belt, which, is kind of
the romance languages. Yes, exactly. That's incredible. Yeah. I figure if I could say, where's the bathroom? Where's the wine? Where are the hot men? I'm set.
That's kind of all you need.
And where can we?
The hot men are everywhere. You don't even have to look.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's on my bucket list to go to Europe and, Italy and France, especially because I want to see the Eiffel Tower and I want to eat Italian food in Italy, which my brother and his wife did on their honeymoon. They kept bragging about it. I'm like, okay, I'm going too. So
you should come with us. Come as part of our travel business. We hope to be back. We hope to be back this fall, but if not in 2022, for sure.
Let's do it.
We do small boutique groups, like 16, 17 people. And because we keep our groups small and we have so many connections in Italy, people get to see things they would never see in a big group. And yes, we, see the things you want to see too, like the David and the Vatican, but you also go to these little vineyards and these little tastings and little, hidden gems that most people can't believe that they're seeing. And so, and we're so used to it that's how, like our contact in Florence, who's worked with us for about 18 years, called us one day. We were in Florence, and she said, "You guys want a tour of the Uffizi? Just the 12 of you?" What? She said, "Do you want a private tour of the Uffizi? It's closed, but the guides like to practice other languages, and I need an American group. Do you guys want to do it?" I looked at my friends. I'm like, "You guys want to go?" Okay, yes, we'll be there in 20 minutes. And we had a tour of the Uffizi, just the 12 of us. So, here's the Michelangelo painting 3 feet away, and here's me. I'm not looking over the heads of 10,000 people. So we do things that are quite unique with our guests. So the travel business is my favorite part of what we do because it's the most fun.
I'm going. I'm in. Just sign me up. I'm in.
It's so good. It's so good. Yeah, we love it.
Yep, I'm in. And where can we find you on social media?
Everything is Christina Cooks. Twitter, Instagram, which I love, Facebook, Pinterest is Christina Pirello. And I'll be honest and say, I don't do much on Pinterest. I kind of don't know how to build the graphic thing anyway. So it's mostly Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. The website is Christina Cooks. Everything's Christina Cooks.
Wonderful. Thank you. And I'm the same way with Pinterest. I can't figure it out either. So that's the only thing I can't use.
I also don't get it.
Yeah. Too old for that stuff. I'll leave it to the young whippersnappers.
I mean, somebody said to me once, because I was saying I don't understand it, and they said, yeah, but look at it this way. If I find a recipe that you put on Facebook that I really liked, if I didn't archive it, I have to scroll through and find it. If you put that recipe on Pinterest, I can pin it and save it. And I thought, okay, but I still don't get it.
I just push buttons until something comes up.
Exactly. Like, oh. Yeah.
Well, Christina, it was a pleasure speaking to you today. Thank
You
you so
too.
much. Thanks. And I can't wait to keep in touch.
I know. We should definitely keep in touch, and I hope I see you on a trip.
It's going to happen. Thank you
Great.
so much. See you soon.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.